provided it, and the school who provide the public space. It's like each individual function just provide the trend by their own self. But that's what caused the impact, is that there is no park public space that was provided by the government for the whole area. It's just for the individual function area only. This is for temple, school, the camp. Well, that is one that was provided by the government for the whole district. But well, people tend to use it less because it's on the hill. As you can see it, the biggest one here. So this is for the park public space in hill. Go next. So for the vacant land, well, the vacant land, the point is that they kind of like spread out from the main old town area. That start to be like the compact of all other kind of facility, and like they tend to be focused on more like the surrounding area of the railroad. Well, the point is because of the separate the space of the residential that from the old town to the new town area. But as you can see that from the new town area, there's still some place that was left to be like the big vacant space due to the undevelopment of the residential that haven't been provided in the trend of vacant land yet. Yeah. So the impact is that, well, it's good for the residential, those luxury kind of residential that have more vacant land here, because they tend to be more private, but it's not good in terms of like security, So this is in terms of the trend of the vacant land. So next one. So the last one is the hardscape, which is the least one. So the hardscape is like from the old town to the new town. They tend to be like spread out to this area. Well, most of the old town is just the old parking lot that was left over. But for the new town, that is tend to be like some small market. But still, it's getting to be more and more in terms of hardscape in the new town, and it's also bigger, because it's had more residential that was being developed by the people that live in the area itself. So this is for the hardscape one. Okay, next. So this is
So this is just updated, revised of the conclusion, but we already talked about this last time, so let's move on. So this is our overview of the physical infrastructure within the area. First thing I would like to point out is the scope of this area is of course a lot bigger. So this is the boundary of Sriracha town. This gray line is the boundary of our area, which we did the land use analysis. Now you can tell, of course, the map is a lot bigger now that we include Lachabang Deep Sea Port, and we move the boundary east of the main motorway from Bangkok to Pattaya. So some of the information that we would like to point out is, for example, I think is most important to point out is that Lachabang Deep Sea Port has already been mentioned as the industrial, mainly the industrial area. However, it also provides one of the main electrical generation plant, which is located just to the north of the Lachabang Deep Sea Port, and this plant is the one that supplies power to most of this area. So the power line actually leads north, and then it leads east. There's a substation here, and once it goes east, it goes north all the way towards our site. This is the area of our site, and what's interesting is that within the area of our site, which is along the existing railroad, there's another substation within the boundary of our site itself, and this substation spreads, of course, provides power to the Sriracha town, and the power line continues north and continues east. So that's mainly about the physical infrastructure of the power line. A couple other things include a water treatment facility. Interestingly enough, there is a water treatment facility just to the north of Sriracha town. There are a couple more. One is to the south. This one is probably to serve the Lachabang area, and there's another one towards closer to the motorway. In terms of garbage disposal and recycling, there are several recycling facilities, however they're fairly small in size, located close to the town and within the area in which we studied for land use. However, in terms of the open garbage dump, none of them is located within this area. In fact, it is located further out east of the motorway. And there are a couple other information that I would like to point out that we didn't have the chance to include here because we only found out about it later. And that is related to the tram line. So you can see that the red dash represents the tram line proposed by the EEC Council. So it's essentially one big loop that starts off at Sriracha, it goes north, and it follows the Assumption Road, going all the way to this area over here, and eventually it loops back down, hitting Latchamang town and going all the way up. So it's one big loop. I think it hits all the major important points. For example, the proposed EECD Digital Park, Latchamang, Sriracha, and also this part, which we haven't had time to add more information, but around this area over here is actually a logistic and transportation hub. So within this area, there's a lot of warehouses, container yards, all these facilities relating to logistic, which is directly connected to the activity that goes on within the industrial area and the port of Latchambang. So by connecting these area and also with the residential area that happens along Sriracha, we can see that they're trying to connect people who would normally have to drive all the way to their workplace, but instead they can take advantage of the tram line. The only other thing that I could see that they could improve is perhaps adding another tram line along I believe this is called the Kaukilo Road, which would help to get people towards these area a lot faster. Okay, so that's it. Next part will be analysis
on Sriracha district, which is like we consider like the central business district. We can see also like most of the residential, which is the lower part, is like exactly in the back, and then we can see like a huge contrast between these two areas. And then also we have like three main axes like to the center. Like on this part we can see like the way that it was planned was like everything was planned like to lead to the business district, to the center business district. So they provided like these two main axes, which will go like exactly to the center, like which will create like because of these two axes, right? It's gonna create like a huge congestion, like traffic, because like people will travel. Everybody will like go to this area. So in terms of transportation, this axis in the center will create like some heavy traffic. And also this is like the diagram which shows in terms of economic and urban growth. In terms of economic, we know that the central business is the one that has like the power to control everything. So everybody here, like they try, like they bring the money here, like they go and work there and do all the stuff there. So they have like, in terms of economic, like it goes like inward. In terms of urban, it goes like outward, because people always try to get closer to the center. Like, so it means it will go like from the center to out. This is like, we talk about this centralized. This is the way it was planned, like on centralized plan, in order like the central business to have control of everything.
Revised map for our analyzed area, so zone A and zone B. Next. And the second one is the figure in ground, and another one is the characteristic of the street. So this is like we already explained about the activities happening here. So this page basically talk about the typology, like what are the main typology in this area. So for example, for this area, right, so this is like the city center, so mostly commercial shop houses, like that. Next. So for this page, we explain about the activities and facility happening in their area. So, and we kind of are analyzing the strength and weakness as well. So this is for every district. Yes. So this is, we try to fix according to the comment last time. So we try to make these two graphics. So the first one is we try to focus on the building mass. So for example, for this one, right? So we define the density by the color. So this is like the city center, so the density is quite higher in this area, and once they like spread out, the density is lower. And so another one is we try to focus the ground and the street and the open space. So as you can see in here, the open space in here is kind of like small, narrow, but since they scatter out, the space is getting higher, getting wider. Yeah. So this is the street facade we try to fix. So, right. Yeah. So this is the characteristic of the street. So we try to categorize in this category: pedestrian walkway, like street obstruction, and vehicle parking, and other